Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Coe Show. My name is Mason Coe, here as always with my co-host Aaron Coe.
Uh,
Today is Wednesday, February 24th. Got a packed show today. Had some technical difficulties last week, so that's why there wasn't an episode. But that should mean we got a longer one today. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to go through. We always have to start this show on a somber note, unfortunately. So. Uh, this is last week news, but Vincent Jackson passed away in his hotel. It came out that he apparently was dealing with severe alcoholism, and I guess the only positive out of this is his brain is being donated for CTE research. 38 years old, just tragic. The only thing I'm gonna really say about this is if you know someone that has an issue, grow a pair and talk to them about it or intervene and help them because it gets bad. So.
and go by what you see, not just by what they say. Because I think somebody checked on him and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine."
Yeah.
But you can tell, like you can see on someone's face. So dig deeper, and thoughts to his family, and I'm sure they'll find all kinds of stuff with that brain, no question.
Yeah. All right. So Tiger, this was massive news yesterday. He is awake, responsive, and recovering. He had surgery on his right leg after a one-vehicle rollover accident. Apparently, I just saw a headline saying the car he was in might have saved him. That was definitely a press release from the car company, probably. But, yeah, he had to get extracted with the jaws of life. So that's always a scary situation. But it's good to hear he's good. You just hope that it has nothing to do with maybe some substance abuse just based off his past. And, now he has a kid that he's old enough to golf with and stuff. So.
Yeah.
You just hope that he's fine, and you assume his career's probably done, but you never know. So
It's tough, So I did watch that documentary that's out, and I felt a little bit like I needed to take a shower after watching it. It was very personal. It wasn't something that he was a part of. It was interesting, and they had a lot of really cool video clips, but it basically dug into, his father's life and affairs and his affairs and on and on and on. But a couple things that I pulled out of it were, it was 2017 that his car was sitting on the side of the road with him in it. And the cops, asked him, "Hey, do you know where you're going?" He's like, or do you know where you are? He's like, "Actually, no." He was very out of it. They said, "Where are you headed?" He's like, I was going down to Orange County, but he was in Florida. He was talking about going somewhere in California. Like, he was like gone. If you Google the photos, it's like, whoa, he was gone. So, but then he comes back and he wins the 2019 Masters, which is amazing. He hadn't won a major for, I think, over 10 years. He'd gone through all this personal stuff, a couple of substance issues that are, it's hard to say exactly what happened. So that even that documentary ended on this high note of, hey, he's back. And, so I just hope and that's why everyone's first thought though was, oh man, he must've been on something, but people still do crash cars. I just hope he can, like you said, I hope he can play golf with his kid. I don't know that he's going to be able to do it at a high level on a pro golf course. We're talking rods and staples and pins, and he's going to be setting off metal detectors at the airport.
Yeah,
so I don't know. It's always sad to see. I had kind of flashback to Kobe when the first thing I saw. Actually, the first thing I saw was a highlight of him. Sorry, I'm rambling on and on, but. The first thing I saw was someone said this was just yesterday, and they showed him, and I think it might have been D Wade or someone. I hope I'm not wrong about that. And he looked happy and was having fun.
Yeah.
On the course. And I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, he must be dead. Like that's why somebody is saying this was just yesterday.
Right. Okay.
So anyway.
Yeah, scary. I mean,
a lot of layers to it.
Yeah, especially considering his age and his injury history. Yeah, I mean, you just hope that he's just functionally okay. I mean, yeah. All right, moving forward, honestly, just some more just devastating, sad news. Kevin Mather. So I mean, you've definitely heard of this already, and if you haven't, I mean, just we'll explain it to you right now, I suppose. But so former CEO just was a Bellevue Rotary Breakfast Club and talked like he was talking to his buddy, and like no one would hear it.
Yeah.
And it was insane hearing him talk like this.
Yeah.
Like, people are watching, right? But this is, well, first of all, Jeff Passan also tweeted, Mariners CEO Kevin Mather has resigned, which got a lot of love from Mariners fans. But yeah, so he did resign, but we'll talk about, before the events leading up to that. So, all right. Jeff Passan tweets, "The shame of Kevin Mather's assessment of the Seattle Mariners team he runs isn't that he said it out loud. It's that he believes everything he said, the bigotry, the falsehoods, the mistreatment, and the insults." So this is, there's a snippet here on screen from the article, and I won't read the whole thing, but really I'll just hit on the big notes of basically shitting on Hisashi Iwakuma for needing a translator, and I do want to talk to you about your take on that, but because you have a kind of a special take, or a special perspective on that. But he also belittled our up and coming star, two of our up and coming stars, in Julio Rodriguez, saying that he doesn't speak good English either when he actually does, and also he's like 20 and it's his first year in America. So fuck you for that.
You know what? I don't even need to say he speaks good English because I don't care.
Yeah, true. That's
Can
a
he
good
hit
point.
a baseball?
Yeah.
So I don't care. It's almost insulting for us to sit here and say, "Oh yeah, he speaks good English." There's an old Chris Rock, but he speaks so well. He's so well spoken. Doesn't fucking matter at all. That being said, he does speak good English.
That being said, he does.
I've heard a lot of reporters say he's worked hard on it. He does English things on Twitter.
Yeah, he called his mom and called her all excited when he did his first full interview in English.
Yeah,
he was super happy and proud of it.
He's tried hard. So just come on, dude.
And then belittles his other star for, and we'll talk about Kelenic and his contract stuff in a minute here. But
Lord. So many, he just blasted everybody.
He blasted everyone of value to the franchise right now.
Yeah.
Also blasted Kyle Seager, saying he's overpaid, and he just said this is going to be his last year in the franchise. And instantly, when I hear this is going to be this person's last year of the franchise, I think of fucking Jerry Krause on the Bulls. And I know this isn't, the Mariners already suck. Yeah. But I every time someone says that in an organization, it ends up bad. It just always does. So I'm glad he's gone. And but yeah, with I guess we'll kind of go in depth on each thing here, starting with Iwakuma and the translator. So he was bitching about having to pay $75K for a translator, which is every Japanese, every Asian-born player has one pretty much, to my knowledge. I mean, not every, but a lot of them do.
Sure.
A lot of, not as many Latin players do because there's a lot of other Spanish speakers in the league.
Yeah.
But, but the funny thing I saw was two of the most popular players in franchise history are a Japanese player that needed a translator and a young prospect learning to speak English and make his way in America, obviously being Felix and Ichiro.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if we've even explicitly said this on the show, but you reported on the Mariners.
Yeah.
And, you got to sit there and watch Ichiro and, his translator talk. So you have not complained at all about the fact that he had a translator, but you did complain about the fact that the translator just fucking sucked and he just didn't give all the answers. So, do we know if Hisashi Iwakuma's translator is good?
I don't know.
No, but seriously, I mean, no, I'm not defending Kevin Mather, but yeah. So, what's your take on this translator thing? Because you know more than I do.
Yeah. So, I always felt. I think the issue that people had with Ichiro sometimes is I think a lot of people felt like he used that to keep the media at arm's length, because it's like, is it really worth it going to talk to him and have to listen to the translator? Like, you're not having you don't feel like it's a real conversation. Had I actually really thought about really learning Spanish so I could communicate better with especially minor league players. So usually by the time they get to the majors, they can all speak, they speak so well. But yeah, the thing with Ichiro is someone would ask a question and go through the translator, and he just gives this big long answer, and then the translator would be like, he says, yes, that is true, and you're like, dude, I know he said, I don't know any Japanese, but I know he said more than 4 words. Is that 5 words, whatever it is. But it definitely was a buffer. And it was interesting with Ichiro too, because I covered the team some in 2000 before he was there. And then in 2001, the first time I cover a game, there's like 50 Japanese media like added to the normal, the normal level of media, but they're people from Japan that came to Seattle, and they were there all season. And for year, I dwindled a little bit, but like there was a whole separate section of media and anyway, so it was just a fascinating thing.
I wonder if I don't know how you could find this out. I wonder if the quotes in the Japanese articles were much more in depth from Ichiro. Like I wonder if they got if you were to translate them directly, I wonder if like, oh shit, this article is way better in nature, just because Ichiro gives us, such a better answer in Japanese than the translator does in English.
Yeah, they definitely got, I'm sure they got a lot more quotes, a lot more quality quotes, because most great quotes come from a conversation. They don't come from you ask one question and they give you the answer. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you see that, but it's rare. Usually it's, you're digging deep and getting and building a relationship over time. But you didn't really feel that way, like you were connected to Ichiro when you were a reporter in there. Like it's just sort of, I gotta go get my Ichiro quote that hopefully I can find something serviceable that I can put in there. But I think that's part of why Seattle didn't embrace him in some ways like they did. Part of it was the team sucked after his rookie year, basically. But they didn't feel a deep connection to him because he was never really talking to, Seattle fans for the most part. So, but yeah, as far as, hey, if bring me another Hall of Famer that never speaks English. Bring me a couple of those guys. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Julio, hit the baseball. I don't care if you can tell me to fuck off in whatever language you want. If you hit the baseball, I'm going to I'll buy your jersey.
And the crazy thing is he won't tell you to fuck off. He's a nice kid.
Yeah, like, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy. And I mean, here, we'll just...
Well, he's not boring like...
Yeah. So, when you have your star player, or what's supposed to be your star player, your star prospect coming up, tweeting the Michael Jordan and I took that personally meme with his face photoshopped on it, you have a fucking issue. And I mean, obviously that issue is, well, that very specific issue is gone. I don't know, organizationally up at the top there, it might not all the way be gone.
Well, there's a couple things, and I bet he's thinking more, not even about the language thing. I think he's thinking that Stanton said, I'm not going to be up until 2022 or 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure he's thinking I'm going to break in this year.
Yeah.
And, and here's the thing. So I wish I could remember where I heard this. I don't even remember if it was a comedian, but someone, it was a black person talking about the use of the N-word. So if someone says if the N-word slips out, it doesn't slip out. It means they use it. Their friends probably use it, or their you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're using it conversationally. And I've always thought about that a lot with a lot of things. So when somebody says something and they're like, "Oh, I didn't mean to say that," there's a lot behind that. Mm-hmm. So when this stuff comes out about service time, and I'm like, he was so comfortable when he said all these things. I'm like, they're talking about this in the office. Mm-hmm. Like they're all thinking this. That was my thought. Like it ain't just him. They can say this doesn't reflect the views of the organization, but that didn't just slip out. He went on for 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. It wasn't one little side comment that went awry. This is I believe it's an organizational philosophy in some of these things.
Well, and this is an interesting conversation because is it an organizational thing or is it a league-wide thing?
That too.
Now,
yeah.
the MLBPA, I believe Josh Donaldson is the president or spokesperson. I don't know. He's high up. He put out a statement, something along the lines of, this just he's comfortable talking about it with some random dude. Obviously, this means he would be comfortable talking about it with other executives, which I think is a fair assumption. And we see service time manipulation all the time. Chris Bryant was the big one, right? It was Chris Bryant. And I mean, we're going to see it with Julio and Kelenic. We already have. And
right.
It's unfortunate. And, back to Kelenic. So he had this 6-year deal on the table, and he bet on himself.
Yes.
In not taking that. Now, I don't like the whole bet on yourself thing. I think it's ballsy, and I'm not gonna go outright and just say it's stupid because, I spent a lot of money on this fucking podcast set. Like, in a way, I'm betting on myself. So, like, I'm not gonna go out there and say everyone that bets on themselves getting a large contract soon is stupid, but also it's tough to say like that's a good decision at the same time. You never know. Yeah, you never know.
In baseball.
You never know. So basically I'm having a complete non-take with the fact that he didn't take this contract. What I'm going to say is good for you, like, for having that confidence, and that actually gives me more confidence in him. Just the fact that he's willing to bet on himself like that. But do we think that the reason maybe his service time was manipulated was because he didn't take that contract in some sort of vendetta-like move from the front office?
This is a tricky one because, first of all, baseball is very different than the other sports. Just the way, the top guys do get some pretty nice signing bonuses, but it's not like the NBA or the NFL where if you draft in the first round, you're making life-changing money, maybe generational money even in some cases. Baseball, they get a signing bonus, depends on where you're drafted and what your leverage is. And then they don't make a whole lot at first. So so a guy, the first baseman, Evan White, signs a deal. It's like, what was it? 6 years, $24 million, plus a couple option years. So if he actually learns to hit a baseball, which I'm very skeptical of, then he will be drastically underpaid. If he continues to suck like he did last year, then good decision. Mm-hmm. Like you're making $24 million guaranteed. Like, good deal, bro. But what if he's like a perennial all-star level player for the next 3 years? Now should be making $20 million a year instead of $20 million over X number of years. So with Kelenic, where does he fall? Because you don't know. The guy has played 20 games over single-A baseball, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he's going to be good. Really, he looks good. He hasn't played in a major league game yet.
Especially with baseball.
Dustin Ackley was going to be good.
Especially with baseball.
You never know.
We say we say it all the time, having the number 1 pick in baseball is the least valuable pick out of all the major sports. And and not just from high school to college and college to the minors, but like single A to double A and double A to triple A and triple A to the majors. There's the jumps get bigger and bigger and bigger once you get to those upper levels. And then once you get to that MLB level, it's just a complete unknown. And some of these guys perform better than they ever have in the majors. Yeah. And it's insane, and no one knows why. But, it creates an interesting conversation of when is it worth it to bet on yourself? And obviously it's a case-to-case basis, and the people that it works out for, you're going to say, well, it was worth it for them. And the people it doesn't, you're going to say, well, it wasn't for them. But is it worth it for a baseball player to do it? Like, is it really worth it?
I don't know, man. It's hard.
When you have that much money on the table and you haven't taken a swing and you haven't seen a pitch in the majors yet?
Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of guys that never made it in the majors that are like, give me a 6-year deal right now.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I would have had that on the table.
Mm-hmm.
The Mariners are doing it because they're like, obviously they're doing it because they're like, well, we can throw $24 million at Evan White, but maybe we'll save $200 million by doing this.
Mm-hmm.
That's their philosophy. So they're,
And if you're a team that's willing to spend a ton of money, that's not a bad philosophy at all.
yeah, no, it's
I don't know
smart.
if the Mariners are though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, and then so they can, then when his contract comes up, they can just let him go somewhere else, and he'll be 30 years old, and they will have gotten him cheaply. So it's an interesting strategy. We'll see how that works. But with Kelenic, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing with him: they could have finessed him, saying we're going to start you out in AAA. You haven't played much. We didn't have a season last year. That's part of this too. There was nowhere for these guys. If you weren't in the majors, there was nowhere for you to play.
Which is why we were saying just pull the fuckers up and just tell them these are no pressure hacks.
Yeah.
No one will, we will not even consider these stats in any negotiations. Just bring them up for some no pressure playing time in a COVID season where you're not making the playoffs, even though they were kind of close for a while. Fucking weird. But, you're not making the playoffs, so why are you just letting these guys just rust up and just sit there and not do shit?
And then, a guy like Evan White, too, I'm sure they would have loved to have, hey, let's just go down to AAA for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Regather, and then we're going to bring you back up. They couldn't, they can't send you down to the fucking training site where you're playing. You know what playing scrimmages are like.
It's not real.
Like nobody,
it's not
you
real.
try, and the coach says, take this, pretend like it's a real game, but it just isn't.
It's not. It's just not.
The same thing. These guys are competitors. They know when they're actually competing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But the service time thing, to me, they've got to just tear that up out of the contract. I don't know what maybe it's like where if you're drafted here, this is when you're a free agent, or when you or do it by age. I don't know. They got to figure out another way, because it's just creating more and more bitterness. I'll tell you what, Ken Griffey Jr. is not wearing a Seattle Mariners hat in the Hall of Fame right now if they had done that to him.
Yeah.
And they could have.
They could have.
Some might at the time said they should have, hold him down. He's 19 years old.
I don't know. So do you know why this even is a thing? How is it supposed to benefit anyone other than just fuck over the players?
In theory, you keep it, guys are in the minor leagues, they're not making a whole lot, and then when they become a major leaguer, that's when the clock starts.
Yeah.
And so then that's when they become a free agent. Now, some guys aren't a free agent until they're almost 30 years old.
Right. Okay.
Some guys, it's when they're 22 if they signed out of high school and go right to the majors. So, but it goes by when you get called up or number of games. I wish I don't remember the exact formula now. But if you hold a guy like the Chris Bryant deal, they held him down, and a week after the clock, they get another year.
Yeah.
And I get it, because would I rather a guy goes to arbitration for a couple years and I'm paying him, market, just not market value, but the average of the top whatever players, or do I want to have to commit $200 million, $300 million to him? Yeah, you want that. You want to push that, kick that as far down the road as you can. But they just need to. I would, if I don't know how to do it. Either if you play X number of games in a major league season, then that counts. And I mean a small, like if you play 50 games, you were needed that year.
Yeah. I mean, if you. I mean, there's a bunch of ways they could do it. I don't know, but
yeah, I would hold every play. I would, unless it's a Tatis or Griffey.
Well, speaking of Tatis, Kelenic is looking at this deal he just got.
Yeah.
And 14 years, $340 million, as announced by Jeff Passan.
Yeah. So
Kelenic
might sign that, or he may never sign anything. We don't know.
That's the thing. So
yeah.
I don't know, and I don't know if Tatis ever had a bet on yourself type situation. I don't actually.
know.
I'm not familiar with really his career arc, but I mean, I understand what Kellenick is. I understand. You see that money, and you think if I can get that, I'm gonna take the chance.
But one of the Mather things too is, Evan White's a good guy. He signed the contract.
Oh,
Kellenick didn't sign the contract.
Yeah.
And now Kellenick has come out, and his agent has come out today and said that they basically said if you would have, if you sign this is, a year ago, if you sign this deal, you'll come up. If you don't, you're not coming up.
Yeah.
And of course the Mariners are denying that, but they probably hinted at it, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So what a just typical of the franchise. I don't know why.
Yeah.
When this news first broke about this thing, I'm like, I should not be a fan of this franchise anymore. Like, I need to go buy another team's baseball hat today.
God, I know.
That's where I was at. It's
one of those things where when the people at the top consistently fail you so much, are you like, as a fan, is it okay if you just leave? I mean, when is it okay? What's the line? I feel like the Mariners have crossed the line with this, where I won't blame Mariners fans if they leave.
Yeah. I remember a guy years ago, he was a Bengals fan, and he put on eBay. He put his fandom on eBay.
Oh my God! I saw the same thing with a Knicks fan. Yeah, yeah.
It was like, it was so So he became, I think, a Steelers fan or something.
Yeah,
it's hard.
The Knicks fan got flown out for a Lakers game, and became a Lakers fan. Yeah,
yeah.
So
I mean, it's hard. Like, we need to see that. I don't need. I know how hard it is to win. But I need to see that your goal is to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Seahawks, I believe they are trying to win championships. They may fuck it up a lot, but they've been trying since Paul Allen bought the team. They've been trying to win. They want to win the championship every year.
Yeah.
The Storm wants to win, expects to win, have won. The Sounders expect to win. They have won. But the Mariners, that's not where they're at.
I'm gonna put the offer out there. If anyone wants to fly me out to a game of, hit me up with the offer and I'll tell you if I approve the team, because I'm not joining the Marlins or some shit. So if it's, there will be probably a list of 10 to 12 teams that I will approve, and just hit me up if you're willing to fly me out for a game this year. I will switch fan bases.
So you have a no trade clause.
I do have a no trade clause.
Sign off, and there's a list of teams that you won't go to.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not being disclosed.
By the way,
this time.
I said years ago, and luckily we're not dealing with this with the Seahawks. I said years and years ago that if I had to join one fan base, it'd be the Bills, and that would be paying off right now. If I had to make that jump, which I'm glad I didn't, but.
What's the baseball equivalent of, I might just do it right now if I can. Tell me what the equivalent is. I might buy a damn hat right now. I'm this close. Mariners.
All right. Well, let's talk about some good Mariners news. Pitchers and catchers report, and Big Maple's back. So it's fun, got him on a team-friendly deal. Sounded like they weren't going to at first, and then they got shit on for it, and it seems like Twitter bullied them into doing it. So.
Well, to the Kevin Mather thing again, they let that sit for a day and a half.
Yeah.
And they're like, maybe this will go away.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's not going to go away. I guess we better get him out of here. That's kind of the Paxton thing. It's like, oh, maybe people will stop suggesting it. But no, it's a good deal for him and the Mariners. I mean, he's going to make $8 million. He's got another shot. If he had a good year, he's got a shot at a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
For the Mariners, hey, if he pitches well, they trade him and get more prospects.
Yeah.
If he gets hurt, they've got the guys that you're manipulating the service time ready to come up and take his spot. So, and it's, $8 million in baseball dollars isn't it's not a huge amount.
It's not. And once again, Trevor Bauer is making more than like 10 franchises payroll this year. Yeah. So baseball, people don't realize saying $8 million is a team-friendly deal or not, it's all fucking made-up fantasy money.
Yeah.
It's all Monopoly money.
Yeah.
They can decide whatever the fuck they want to pay him, and it won't matter.
Yeah.
So, it, like this idea of, like, a team-friendly... Like, every deal's a team-friendly deal because they're on the team. So, it's like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. And some Mariner fans actually didn't like that they're spending $8 million, and I'm like, dude, they ain't... Your beer ain't going to be $1 cheaper.
What? Yeah.
If they don't sign him, like the parking isn't going to be any cheaper because, like our buddy said, I can get away with charging $40 for parking.
He said I can get. He literally said I can get away with it.
So, so don't worry about what they're spending because they're going to charge you every penny that they feel that they can.
I had to reread that 4 times to make sure like that this wasn't a leaked quote from a private conversation.
Yeah.
And this was the same conversation as the other shit. But yeah.
It's crazy when you dig through and just he fucked with the commissioner, the umpires, all the players, historical players.
Yeah.
Like he just... Like, it's amazing the number of guys this guy crapped
I don't know,
on.
and we'll talk about Stanton later, but, like, I don't know, man. Like, how do you just let this guy stay and promote him? And it's just wild.
My gosh.
But all right.
Oh, yeah. More later. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Let's talk about this Duke freshman. This is really, really old news at this point, but we just want to talk about it. So, Jalen Johnson has opted out for the remainder of the season. Quitter. People are arguing over whether he's a quitter or not. So, go ahead. What do you think?
He's a quitter.
He's a quitter?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Obviously, a lot of people are, he's playing for free, and Duke education ain't free, by the way. Look it up. It costs a lot of money to go to Duke. But here's the thing. Even if you say, oh, he's not making anything, the coach is making all the money, blah, 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 blah. He's got teammates that he's quitting on. I know they haven't had a great season, but what if they could make a run in the ACC tournament and get to the tournament and win a couple of games, with his help? He just walked out on his teammates and said, I'm more important than you. I don't know. I know I'm not in that situation, but I don't know that I could look myself in the mirror, even if I'm holding handfuls of money. I wouldn't want to be that kind of person, quite frankly. So he's a quitter.
I don't know. I mean, I think ultimately just staying, obviously you just avoid this whole whirlwind, but, I thought like this whole thing was supposed to be a business. So it's a business when Duke can just make as much money as they want off this kid. It's a business and I know this is different when you get to the NBA. It's a business when NBA teams can just trade a player who has given however his all to his community and stuff. But when a player wants to get traded, when a player sees that Coach K has quit on his team, when a player sees that Coach K is bitching out student reporters. And they, at best, they're making the NIT this year. I don't blame him at all. His body is worth millions of dollars at this point, and he's months away from being drafted and making millions of dollars. And even the slightest ability of him to lose some stock on that, I think it's not worth him playing.
But I mean, even if he gets hurt, he's still getting drafted.
Man, you know that there's a difference. If you slide out of the lottery, there's a lot of money you lose there.
Are you that scared? Now I know the coaches leave, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. But he walked out the door on his boys. I just can't.
His
I'm not
boys.
Okay with that.
He's a freshman. What do you mean his boys?
They've been.
How long has he known him?
They've spent every day together for the last year. Since he got out of high school, he's been there. They've been hanging out. They've got no one else they can hang out with.
If they're his boys, they're happy for him. They say good. If they're really his boys, they'll say good. Make your money.
I'm sure they are, but I could not walk out on my guys like that.
Well, what I will say is if he just didn't even say shit to him and it just came out and that's when they learned, then that's bullshit and that's on him. But if he, if as long as he didn't walk out like a total douche to his teammates, it's like he's worth money. Like he could buy insurance. Like he could take out $1 million policies on his
Then do that.
arm. Like,
or if you don't want to play, then don't sign up to play for the season. Just don't do it. Like just go play overseas or just sit out the year and work out and just don't sign up to play for a year if you're just gonna walk out.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I understand the argument of playing overseas because guys like LaMelo have proven that you can actually improve your draft stock going overseas. So I understand that argument, but just sitting out for a season, his draft stock would have gone down. And also keep in mind, this dude's a freshman in college. Like, he's young. He's 2 years younger than me. This is a kid that I don't know where he comes from, what his situation was, but also I see people calling this kid a coward and stuff. It's like, I think calling him a quitter. What you call him?
He's afraid of getting hurt. Yeah,
You're calling him a coward?
a little bit. Yeah.
It's cowardly to call him a coward.
How?
It's cowardly to call him a coward.
I might get hurt. Yeah. Everybody might get hurt. All your other teammates might get hurt too.
Yeah, and they don't stand to make millions. You can't just call this kid. He's 20. What is he? 20 years old. He stands to make millions of dollars. He's a 20-year-old kid, and you're calling him a coward.
Even Jalen McMillan pretended to play at least.
Jalen McMillan. I don't know who Jalen McMillan is.
Sorry,
but...
that's a UW. That's a UW receiver. My bad.
McDaniel. But yeah, Jaden McDaniels.
Whatever. Who the hell? Jalen McMillan, I'm really sorry. I think you're going to be a fantastic wide receiver for the Huskies.
Yes.
I would never put you in the category with Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah.
But even why did he finish the season? Like, I don't know. I don't like it. Here's the thing though. You can solve this by, they should just call it the shit or get off the pot rule. Mm-hmm. So I love what they do in baseball. If you're going to go to a D1 university, you're there for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go straight to the pros out of high school. Those are your options. So a kid like this could say, okay, I'm going pro. And pro could mean NBA, I'm here if you want to draft me. Or it could mean I'm going to go overseas for a year or two or however long I need to get my draft stock up. But the one and done thing, I don't like it. Rarely do those players really help a team all that much. There's the Carmelo Anthonys of the world and the Anthony Davises of the world that are, but those are like ridiculous talents. Like,
yeah, I mean,
every one and done is not the same. Jaden McDaniels did very little for that team. Isaiah Stewart helped the team.
College legacies are built off multi-year careers.
Yeah.
Like 3-year careers.
Yeah. And if you look at teams that make it to the Final Four, rarely are they led by a one and done.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're, but even Kentucky, like they haven't, usually they have a couple of experienced players.
Mm-hmm. What's interesting is most of the most iconic players in college history are not the most iconic players in NBA history.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that, like, the really talented guys that are going to be the greats in the NBA aren't there for long enough to build those legacies in college. And I think having essentially the guys that are talented enough to be a one and done, either have them in the G League, and that makes the G League a good product now. If you have all the one and done guys in the G League's all of a sudden a good product worth watching. And also, if you don't have one and done guys in college, now you're building up legacies of these guys, and you have your Christian Laettners and your JJ Redicks, all these people that have some time to build up a legacy.
Yeah. And
it's good for the game. It's not, you don't necessarily want the NBA greats to also be the college greats. That's not necessarily what you want.
They don't have to be the same thing.
No.
Yeah.
It's nice to have memories of guys like Trent Richardson. I mean, when you think of Trent Richardson, you think bust. But guys like Denard Robinson, remember him at Michigan?
Yeah.
Like, it's really nice to have memories of guys like that for football. Or, like I mean, JJ Redick has had a great career, but a star like JJ Redick.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just so different. Obviously back in the basically pre-90s or even maybe turn of the century, most players played 2 or 3 years in college. Jordan played 3 years in college. I mean, that's absurd. Absurd to think that he would do that now.
Oh, there's no way.
He would, even though he didn't have a huge freshman year, although he did hit a game-winning shot, championship-winning shot as a freshman, he didn't put up ridiculous stats, but he would still be drafted high.
Oh, yeah.
Based on potential. So,
Yeah.
some of the greats of all time played 3 or 4 years in college back in the day. Now that's just not going to happen.
His coach, I mean, even just back then, freshmen didn't get played that much.
Yeah.
He wasn't, he was by no means on the ball as a star at all that freshman year. Mostly because of his coach, but also it was just the time.
Yep. So I don't know. I just think, the one, obviously one and done has been a disaster at my favorite school, University of Washington, but it's really been a disaster because they've had nothing behind that player.
Yeah.
It's so weird when they've been good.
Terrible team.
When they've been good, they've had some good senior players. And no one and done. When they've had one and done, they've had no good seniors, good juniors.
Their best years are the years with the least amount of hype.
Yeah, true.
Always their best years are like when I'm going into the year talking about Husky basketball, like looking out for a couple guys to watch, it never ends up good.
No,
never ends up good. Which is weird, but that's how it is in college.
It's hype, and a lot of that's based on their NBA stock. When they're coming out of high school. So, but those aren't always the great, like you said. Those aren't always the great college players.
The dude, the star guard for Virginia, Jerome, what's his fucking name? He won the national championship. He's in the G League right now.
Yeah.
He was their star point guard. He's not an NBA star by any means. He probably never will be.
Yeah.
And that's no fault. And that's not shitting on him. That's just saying the college legends often aren't the NBA legends. So let's just separate the guys that are like, okay, this guy is 18 and he either should be playing with NBA players or he is definitely should be next year. Let's just get them, let them go to Europe. Let's make the G League a dope product. That would be so sick if we could have college basketball with built-up programs of guys that are staying there for 3 years with good team basketball and, tight relationships. And you see a bunch of G League teams where they're actually being broadcast on TV, and you see a guy like, maybe LaMelo Ball, or you see a guy like Jalen Johnson, Zion, all these people. Yeah, that's a good product all of a sudden. So, yeah, and then you still have room for guys like Ja Morant to become a standout in college too. So
you're gonna have plenty of those stories. Yeah, you're gonna miss on the Zion types, but those, they don't happen all that often, really. It's pretty damn rare. Usually you look at the NBA if you're a casual, like, I don't really watch the NBA and I don't really pay much attention to draft boards, but I'll watch the NBA draft and I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that guy? It's because they average 4 points a game as a freshman in college, but it's all but they're 6'10" and have all the potential in the world. So.
Here's what I'll say. Zion is an all-star this year. No one will ever talk about his college career again from this point forward. Yeah. Now that he's an all-star in the NBA, no one will ever talk about his time at Duke again because he's already been an all-star. Now you're talking about his legacy already.
Assuming he, keeps performing and stays healthy and all that, it'll be he went to Duke. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like, that's 10 years from now. It'll be, God, he did go to Duke, didn't he?
The only story from Duke that people remember is, two things. Darren Ravel will remember when Zion's shoe broke and how it affected Nike not at all, and he'll still tweet about it every single year. And then also, Zion his draft stock shot up because he was still that athletic freak, but he was supposed to be like a mid to late lottery.
Right.
And then, so that's the legacy of his Duke career, is Zion improving his draft stock.
Yeah.
That is his Duke legacy. So, yeah. All right. We can get off this now. But I guess while we're talking about college stuff, let's talk about the transfer portal. So
quitters.
Yeah, no. So, it's kind of getting crazy.
Yeah.
we've talked about this in, I think, a few episodes, how, your prediction that it was going to get crazy and then it coming true that it is getting crazy. But, I mean, let's just kind of quickly, I think we've already talked about this, but a quarterback that comes in the same class as another guy and loses the job, understandable for him to transfer. But, yeah, it's just getting wild.
You haven't seen crazy yet. You
Yeah?
want to see crazy?
Yeah.
Look a year from now.
Okay.
Because you've had kids commit that have never been to that school, maybe have never even been to that state.
Yeah.
It's going to be, but no, it is going crazy. There's a transfer portal Twitter page. I think it's 247 Sports, maybe, I can't remember, that I follow, and just every day, boom, 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 just over and over again. But yeah, I think there's a lot of, and I have mixed feelings because part of me believes that, again, like we've said, these guys aren't being paid, and if they're not getting an opportunity, maybe they should transfer. I think one of the more blatant ones would be, oh God, who is this shitty quarterback? He's not a shitty quarterback, but for the Baltimore Ravens that won a title, big tall guy.
Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
So Joe Flacco was like, where was he? Pitt or somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
He was like third string, so he transfers to, I don't remember, Delaware?
I think it was Delaware. I think it was.
And the dude ended up making $100 million.
I mean, same shit, Kyler, I think Kyler transferred, right? Or
yeah, Kyler,
Baker
Mayfield.
Joe Burrow,
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, all of them.
So there's a lot of stories like that, but there are also a lot of stories dude, you didn't play as a freshman. Like, work your ass off and earn, especially if you're not a quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, you can still get on the field and
find a role.
Put tape on.
Mm-hmm.
It's really quarterback and maybe to some degree offensive line. There's a couple spots where you're either you play in every snap or you're not playing at all.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of kids that are going to be sucked into this mysterious portal and they're never seen again. They think something's going to be better, but sometimes it's just you. Sometimes you didn't do what you needed to do.
Yeah.
To earn that time. But I think, it's just going to keep getting crazier. I think as a fan, it's just going to be tough every year to see guys come and go, and it's just going to, we're going to lose some connectivity to the teams that we love.
Well, that's and we're talking about college legacies, and this is a part of it too. You need guys to stay in college for 3 years, but you need them, for the most part, to stay at the same school.
Yeah.
Unless you're a quarterback. I feel like, I don't know. In basketball, do you think legacies are... I think the biggest legacies in basketball are more often not NBA players, while the biggest legacies in football, I feel like, usually are or NFL players.
Quite often, yeah. Especially now, I think more so. I mean, they're back in the day.
Well, they have to stay for more than 1 year. That's what it is. If Zion stays for 2 years, he builds a legacy.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, there it is. But
yeah, that's a big part of it. You have to stay for 3 years in college football.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't love it. I kind of, if a guy needs another opportunity, I kind of get it. But man, it's just gonna get, because now the deal is they're not gonna have to sit out for a year. That was always what kept guys from moving so much.
Yeah.
Do you have to sit out a year? Is it worth it to sit out for a year? Jacob Eason was, he had to make a real decision. Is it worth it for me to sit out for a year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now you don't. So it's just, it's going to be kind of you're going to see guys, move down a few pegs to get an opportunity. You're going to see guys at smaller schools that popped go to a bigger school.
Yep.
You also, here's my biggest concern. Mm-hmm. Let's say I'm a 4-star recruit, and I'm being offered by, I'll just say it. I live in Washington.
Yeah.
I'm being offered by UW and all of these, and
Yep.
Alabama and Ohio State and Cal and whatever. So previously, I would have been like, I see an opportunity at Washington, I'm going to go there and stay home. Now it's like, well, fuck it. I'll go to Ohio State. If it doesn't work out, I can come back or I can go somewhere else. So I think you're going to see, I think this is going to benefit the bigger schools a lot. Now they're going to lose depth, but they're going to get more recruits because you're going to see more guys take a shot and try it out. If it doesn't work, I go somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure. Deal. Yeah. I think the biggest goal in college football right now should be how do we get more teams in the mix?
Yeah.
And I don't know, because you think the transfer portal would help with that. And, you see a team like Baylor last year, a bunch of their guys were transfer portal guys. And Matt Rule was able to get all these transfer portal guys, put together a great defense, and almost make a playoff spot last year.
Yeah.
But it's also, like you just said, where kids are just bouncing around everywhere, and there's obviously, there's three schools in college football. There's three.
Yeah.
It's Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson. How do we get, a couple more schools in there to compete?
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is as far as the transfer portal goes, because I think you absolutely need it to be an option for some kids, but how easy should it be? Should there be any restrictions with it? It's really tough because, I don't know, it seems like no matter what you do, Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama get better, either way. So, yeah.
Well, and it's, they used to, you could petition to not have to sit out a year, but then you see Justin Fields be able to go one place and then become the starter at Ohio State the very next year.
Mm-hmm.
You see guys transfer a couple times, and then I wish I could remember his name, but there's a player that wanted to transfer legitimately because he wanted to be near his dying relative.
Yeah.
And they said no.
No.
But Justin Fields, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have any real reason other than I feel like I want to play.
I want to play quarterback.
And now I think it's just going to be more of a free-for-all. So I just think, yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of ugly and hard to follow, and you're going to see teams hiring. I've already seen this.
Yeah.
You got to hire a transfer portal specialist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going to be nuts.
All right, another college football question. I haven't even seen anything about this, but I haven't really been keeping up on college football stuff as of late. Could there be realignment in the Big 12 and Pac-12? That'd be fucking nuts.
Yeah, so I actually thought about this quite a bit this morning when I should have been working.
Is this just a you question, or is this something that's been raised?
I saw it on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw a tweet out there. I'm sorry. I need to remember whose tweets I see so I can credit them. But
yeah, we're small enough. It doesn't
I
matter.
saw it on Wilner's page, but he was retweeting something.
Right.
Again, Wilner.
Wilner
Hotline. Great follow if
Shout
you're into Pac-12 football. He's amazing. But so the TV. What often drives these things are TV deals. Larry Scott, one of his early swings and misses where it looked like Texas was coming to the Pac-12. Whenever that was, it's when Colorado and Utah came. So 2010 or whenever that was. Texas, it seemed to be a done deal.
I forgot about that.
That was my understanding. It was like, yeah, they're coming.
I remember that happening, but I forgot.
Yeah,
that was a thing.
So there's been some conversations with these things before. Both the Big 12 and the Pac-12 have a few schools who are very competitive and dedicated and have great fan support, and then both conferences have, some, like Big 12 is Kansas State.
Oregon State.
We've got Oregon State.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. So I would love to see the, basically you take the best of each conference.
Oh my God, I would fucking love this much.
It'd basically be now for
the Big Pack. The Big Pack.
The Big Pack.
The Big Pack.
The Big Pack and Little Pack.
Yeah.
But I would love to see this. Now you would need for this to really. This could become an SEC.
Yeah.
you'd need Texas to get off its ass, and
Mm-hmm.
you need USC to get off its ass.
Well, Sark is trying to poach all these Pac-12 recruits, apparently. So, would he like this, or would he not?
I think he would like it because he would be in those cities even more.
I saw a quote that said he was out for blood. Like, holy shit. Like, he's out for blood on recruiting. What does that mean?
I just think he has connections because he's been a West Coast guy
Yeah.
for a long time.
What does out for blood mean, though?
Show everybody, and I get it. I would have a chip on my shoulder too.
I guess, yeah.
Show everybody that you're back, and but yeah, I would love to see. So here we go. Here's my big pack.
Yeah.
So in the North, and these are not in any particular order except for the last couple. In the North, or you could say North or West Division, however you want to do it. But
Yeah.
UW, Oregon, USC, UCLA, and then two of these three. I was having trouble with this. So Utah, Arizona, or ASU. I probably would say Utah's in, and then you're choosing between Arizona and ASU. Arizona has the basketball legacy that you want. But ASU is stronger in a lot of other areas and has probably a better recruiting base. So
Also,
whatever. I don't really care. Give me two of those three.
Yeah, whatever.
And then in the other division, you'd have Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Texas, TCU. Oh, and I put Baylor in there twice. And someone else. Whatever.
Oh, so Arizona or Arizona State, right?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that's true. You could move one of them to the. They wouldn't have to be from the original Big 12. So yeah, okay. So Arizona, you can stay. We'll put you in the other division.
Yeah.
So you'd lose we'd lose Wazoo, Oregon State, Cal, Stanford, Colorado. And no disrespect to those programs, but they just don't have. They don't have the big stadium and the fan support and the legacy that a lot of these other programs have. I just think, if you had a conference like that, you're getting one of those teams is going to the playoff every year, even if you keep it at 4. So I would love to see their TV deals for both conferences come up in about a year and a half. I would love to see something like this happen. And let some of these other schools become Boise States of the world.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Give me the big pack. Let's run it, baby. Let's run the big pack.
Hashtag big pack. It
Big
started
pack.
here.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's it for the college football talk. So let's hop into some football. So this has been a thing for a while now. Obviously, J.J. Watt got released.
Yeah.
Here's the odds as of February 17th. Okay, so a week ago. I don't know what the odds are now, but Browns minus 125 is interesting because I thought Packers and Steelers would top the list, and then Bills and Bucks. Obviously, all teams that are hoping to compete for a Super Bowl, which is unsurprising. I'm just excited to see where he goes. He has connections to Green Bay because it's his home, and obviously the Steelers have his 2 brothers, so you instantly those pop out to you. But yeah, it'll just be interesting. That's all I really got on that.
Yeah, it will be interesting. The Browns, maybe they have a little bit more salary cap flexibility. I'm not sure because they're not having to pay their quarterback quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, it's going to be really. There's going to be. I'm telling you, there's going to be some casualties of this of the salary cap going down. Teams are going to have to cut good players. That are making big money. So you're going to see a flooded market. So I think it's going to be tough for J.J. Watt to make a lot of money this year, just because nobody's got it. Salary, the salary cap's going to be a real issue, especially for good teams. So
well, salary cap is a minimum of 180, so it's actually going up.
No. It minimum was $200 million this year.
I thought it really.
Yeah. So here, let me give you the storyline here.
Okay.
The salary cap in this last season was right at about $200 million.
Okay.
They made an agreement with the Players Association that this 2021 cap could be as low as 170. So that's where you're getting that number.
Okay.
And now it's sitting. The last I heard, they're talking about 182 or 183 is where they expect it to land.
Okay.
So they made a deal with the Players Association that the lowest we'll put it as 170.
Okay.
So it was going to drop 30, now it's going to drop 17 or whatever, but normally it goes up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for
And-
sure.
and-
I misunderstood that.
And salary, player contracts are usually written in such a way that you expect it to go up. So you're going to see, you're going to see a lot of renegotiations.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of guys we got to cut this guy because we got to clear room so we can have a team.
It'll be interesting to see what stars decide to renegotiate and be, I don't know if I would just want to say be selfless because everyone's in a different scenario, but a guy like Mike Evans said that he'd be willing to give up money to keep the team together. It'll be interesting to see if maybe a guy like Russell fucking Wilson will do the same thing, but who knows? Speaking
you
of,
can do things like, say this, like Big Ben.
yeah,
I'll give him as an example.
Yeah.
So has like a $41 million cap number this year, and
Yeah.
I think 19 of that is guaranteed no matter what.
Yeah.
Or around 20 million. So what you can do if you're Big Ben is sign actually a longer deal, have less money due this year, but it's a signing bonus. So you're kicking the can down the road. Like you're going to have to, it's like you put money on a credit card. Eventually you got to pay the bill. Mm-hmm. But in a year like this, you may see a lot of that. Like, well, we'll eat this money 3 years from now when we hope the salary cap is $220 million.
Yeah. And speaking of Big Ben, he is expected to come back, which is a little surprising. Not surprised that Big Ben wants to come back, but just considering, like you said, the cap stuff going on. He has a big hit this year, and but he has been assured, Art Rooney, the president, that he is committed to coming back to help us win. And I told Ben that we would like to have him back. We both understand the next step is to work out his contract situation. So it seems like a renegotiation maybe on the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see with that. The big quarterback news though is Carson Wentz getting traded to the Colts in exchange for a third and a second round pick that could change into a first depending on if Carson Wentz either plays 75% of snaps or 70% and also the Colts make the playoffs. So do we think that's going to be a first round pick?
I think
Yeah?
you might want to record
Okay,
this.
yeah.
I think Carson Wentz will go to a Pro Bowl in the next 3 years. I think he's going to bounce back.
Oh my god. Okay.
He's got some weapons. He has an offensive line. He's back with his boy Frank. They're gonna repair some damage, get his confidence back. This guy was a budding star. He got hurt, and then
Lost all of his confidence.
The coach is a buffoon. They didn't get him any weapons. He had nobody to throw to, a broken offensive line. He's gonna be back. I'm not saying he's not gonna be a Hall of Fame guy, but he's gonna be you
said a Pro Bowl in the next few years.
Yeah,
that's what
he'll get into a Pro Bowl, and even
all right.
I think you were an alternate for the Pro Bowl last year. Like it's not real hard to make a Pro Bowl, but I think he's gonna be a solid guy.
That pick is gonna be a second round pick.
So what do they have to get to be a first round pick?
75% of play time or 70% and they make the playoffs. Pick is gonna be a second round pick.
Yeah, they're going to be losing that first round pick.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Oh, you okay?
I mean, it's going to turn into a first round pick.
Okay, yeah. Okay, fine. I guess we agree to disagree there, but I don't believe in Frank Reich enough to fix a completely broken quarterback. A quarterback that was an MVP candidate and just turned into a terrible quarterback who couldn't throw the ball 5 yards down the field accurately. And this isn't, yes, he had bad receivers. Yes, he had a bad line. This is a broken quarterback. He's done. Like he's not going to be good. Here's what I will say. I don't think he's going to be as bad. Like he'll be serviceable. He might, he might even be good enough to make that, to make that 75%. He may be good enough to not get benched next year. That's what I'll say.
He's broken.
Have
you heard of Kurt Warner?
Yeah, I have.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he is
that
in
guy.
the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Not the Seahawks running back, but the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know he played for the New York Giants?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was done, washed up, injury prone, and then all he does is go to Arizona. They get him some weapons. They go to a Super Bowl, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league for several more years.
It's different when you were a good quarterback for more than 11 weeks. Like you can get hot for 11 weeks.
Yeah. I'm telling just having weapons around him makes a world of difference.
I think I don't know. I mean, we actually are over an hour already, so we may save NFL bets for next week. I don't know, but when we set the ones for next year, I suspect we have multiple Carson Wentz $2 bets.
Oh yeah.
I suspect Carson Wentz will pop up a couple times.
City.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Carson Wentz. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, we still, let's see. I guess we don't have a ton left to go, so maybe we can't go over NFL bets. What do you think?
Up to you. You're the boss.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll decide on the fly here while we're talking. But, so yeah, do you got anything left with Wentz though?
No, I just, I guess the big one is I'm stunned. I probably said it on this podcast. There's no way Wentz is getting traded. There's no way Jared Goff's getting traded because the teams had to eat so much money. So they had to eat. They take such a big dead hit when you trade the guy away to your cap.
Aren't there no quarterbacks drafted in the first round from 2009 to 2016?
Yes.
No first-round quarterbacks are on their same team. Including,
it's
crazy. That dates back to fucking Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how far that goes back.
Yeah.
Just to let you know. Crazy.
So is there,
pretty much no one in the league that was drafted in the first round at this point.
So is there a bubble burst with these quarterback salaries? Are you going to start seeing guys getting dumped? Certainly, we're already seeing if you sign a big deal and struggle, they'll just eat it.
Yeah.
Because they, So, if Russell Wilson has a bad year next year, will he be gone?
Right, yeah.
They're not going to sit around and pay guys $35 million unless they're at the top of their game. So I wonder if these quarterback contracts, will the Mahomes deal be more of was it a sign of things to come? Or was that the last mega crazy $500 million deal that quarterbacks get? I'll be curious to see.
I think this Dak contract could also be a big indicator of whether this bubble's close to bursting or not. Because, or maybe it'll be like you poke a hole in the bubble and the air gets let out. Like, who knows? I just feel like at some point teams are going to find a way to convince the players or let me re-say that. I think teams will find a way to make it so quarterback cap will not affect the rest of the team's cap.
Right.
And I don't know whether that would be just a separate cap thing or I think we already talked about this on a different episode, but I think this problem, there will have to be something to solve the problem. I don't think it's just going to go away through teams figuring shit out.
And you're going to see someone like Dak sign with a team, and the team is going to be like, well, he'll help us get to the playoffs. You're going to see a lot of the big money is going to end up going to situations like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where that all goes.
For sure. All right. I think I'm going to make an executive decision because there's not shit going on right now. I think it would be good to save the NFL bets for next week, considering we are at over an hour and 8 minutes already. And
the Mariners probably won't, drop another huge bomb on us, right? So
yeah, for real. So but here's the thing: the episode's not over though.
Oh, it's not?
It's not.
What else do we have?
Oh yeah, the Howard Schultz Clown of the Week. Speaking of Howard Schultz, I put out on this YouTube channel and my Twitter a Sonics PSA for one of my classes, and I thought it could fit in well with some of the content.
George Carl liked it.
George Carl did he said, well done, Mason. Yeah. So that's big news right there for the team. So yeah, do you want to go first? You want me to? Actually, I have two.
You have two. All
Yeah.
right. I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go. So mine is obviously the Kevin Mather situation.
Yep.
We already talked about him. So
He's, by the way, he gets added to, it's like the Howard Schultz in parentheses, also Kevin Mather, also, who else was it? Roger Goodell, Larry Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
just guys that are just.
He gets added to the list.
Clowns,
Kevin Mather is in the list now.
So, I got to go with the Mariners' majority owner, John Stanton.
Yeah.
So, like I mentioned earlier, they wait a while, see where the wind's blowing, and then it's announced that Mather resigns. And Stanton, first of all, oh my God, if you ever want to see a train wreck, watch the press conference. They couldn't figure out Zoom. So I was listening to this on KJR, and it was during the Ian Furness show. And Ian Furness was like, they're trying to get it. They're on live radio and they're waiting, and first you can't hear Stanton, and then he can't hear the questions, and Furness said, insert joke here.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is so Mariner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just, people have been using Zoom for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe a major sports organization can figure it out. But
yeah.
During this, first of all he did at first was read the statement that he'd already put on Twitter, word for word. Mm-hmm. And Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times said, if he hadn't resigned, would you have fired him? And he said his answer was, I didn't have to make that decision. You know what your answer is, bro?
Of course I would have.
Fuck yes, I would have.
Of course I would have.
Because he's an idiot.
Of course I would have fired him. That's your answer.
People, this is the same ownership group that has owned the team for 20 years, that they reshuffled it a little bit, but it's the same dudes.
It's no coincidence.
Yeah.
Like, there's no coincidence that we haven't made the playoffs for the amount of time that these people have been in charge.
They don't care. They don't even see what winning could do for them.
Yeah.
Like, go back and watch 1995, you idiots,
yeah.
when there were 60,000 people in the worst stadium in baseball,
mm-hmm.
because they were starting to win games. This town will go watch a winner. Go win some games, but they don't really care about that.
Look what happened in this. No one gave a fuck about the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And now we're the loudest stadium in all of sports.
Yeah. So we need to see that you're trying to win, but they don't care. They don't see that, and they don't care. They want to sell more popcorn.
It's an investment. At the end of the day, a sports team is a good investment.
Yeah.
You're always going to make money unless something crazy like COVID happens, which, by the way, even if they lost a little money, they'll make it right back next year.
Yeah.
So it's an investment for some people, unfortunately, and we have to realize that. And I think, I don't know how you do this, but steps should be taken to weed those people out. Weed the business people out of the sport. Like, if you're going to be a businessman in this sport, put people in place that want to win to handle all the other shit.
Yep.
And then you handle the business shit. Otherwise, don't be an owner in the game. If you're just all about how do we make money? Which, by the way, if you don't think winning is the way you make money, you're fucking stupid anyway.
Winning is pretty good business.
Yeah.
Look at
yeah.
everywhere else. And dude, Theo Epstein better have been his first phone call.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can get that guy, but it better have been his first phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Doubt it was.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
He's going to be a clown. He's going to be on the list too pretty soon.
Yeah.
He's going to be in that same. Yeah. This is just how it's going to be, I believe, for this franchise.
For sure. All right. I'm just going to continue the music. So, this seems like an innocent tweet, but when your former coach goes to Texas and becomes the head coach and the entire state is freezing over and people don't have water or heat and people are actually dying. People are really dying.
Have died.
This is not something you tweet. And from what I've heard, apparently the USC social media team has repeatedly done fucking stupid shit, which I didn't even know. But yeah, this is a tough one. Just tweeting essentially 72 and sunny, like, and this is right when all the Texas shit was popping off with the storms. So.
Yeah. So basically, Sark said, "Oh, I like recruiting in California. Good relationships there. I feel like we can do some work there." And then USC puts that out the next day, and it's obviously a comment toward your state freezing over.
By the way, if this was about 20% not as bad and people weren't dying, this would be hilarious.
Yeah.
This would be hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's just too much shit is happening and it turns horrible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my first one.
Not funny.
No. You got anything else on that?
Well, I remember USC putting out a video of, like, at the very early in the pandemic, they put out like a hype video. Nobody's wearing masks.
Yeah,
they had to pull that down. So you're right. They've continually done stupid things like this.
Yeah. And then a little bit more of a high note, clown of the week, is someone in Vegas did put a $10,000 bet on the Wizards to win the finals, which would net $5 million. It's a great payout.
Nice.
Yeah, great payout, great odds. The problem is it will never fucking happen in a million years. You could simulate this NBA season probably a million times and it wouldn't happen. Do you think it won in a million? If you simulated the season 1 million times,
No.
do you think the Wizards win once?
No chance.
No chance. I agree.
Would you put a quarter on me winning the 100 meters at the 2021 Olympics?
Hey, I mean, if I bet a quarter on you to win that probably pays out $7 billion.
Yeah, that would be all the money in the world. Would
So
you
you know
give
what?
up-
I would, just
You'd
because.
give up the quarter?
Yeah, I would give up the quarter because it's a quarter. No, but not in this case. This dude's giving up 10K for $5 mil.
Yeah.
Sounds like, you just hear give up 10K bet for a $5 mil odd, or,
Yeah,
10K bet for a $5 mil payout. Sounds great. But obviously this will never happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Stupid.
Do you have another clown, or is that your only?
10 million. That's enough clown for.
Yeah, I think we've had enough clown. All right. So let's move into the player and our lock of the week. Which one do you want to go with first?
My lock of the week is Pacers -2 tonight. I don't even remember who they're playing.
Okay.
But they're going to win by more than 2 points.
All right. Pacers, let's see. Wait, who are they playing?
Where are they playing?
Where are the Pacers? Are they playing tonight, Dad?
Could have been tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. Where is it? Oh, they're playing the Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
okay.
going to win by 3 points.
All right. Fair enough. Give
Put your
me
10K on that.
Give me let's see. Hold on. Let me find what's the over under on this game. It is 214. Oh Jesus, 214. I was gonna say take the under on the Heat Raptors game, but it's only 214. So
Only 214.
yeah,
It's funny how things
I know.
have changed.
Yeah.
I looked at some of those and I couldn't take the overs on anything because they were all
like
obscene.
230 plus.
And the Nets aren't playing today, so
yeah,
even though I lost that last week because
Yeah.
LeBron James,
yeah, baby.
they only scored 98 points.
All right, give me the Rockets -4 against the Cavs. Cavs have been struggling. Just plain and simple. Just give me the Rockets -4. Now we'll snake draft this.
All right.
There's a player that was an all-star starter last year. There's 3 players, by the way, that were all-star starters last year that are not an all-star this year.
Ooh, they're gonna be pissed.
Yeah. And I was looking at him thinking, which one is the one that's going to take this personally and go off? And I'm going to go with the one that has the ball the most in his hands, definitely just putting up the most shots, highest usage percentage, and that would be Trae Young. I think Trae Young goes off against a team who just had 2 all-star electees.
Sure.
2 all-star elects.
Yeah.
They had 2 all-star elects. The Celtics had Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both make the all-star game, and they're, by the way, below 500, 2 all-stars. Kind of interesting.
Wow.
But give me Ice Trae to go off tonight. You'll see him do this. He's gonna hit like a 30. This is gonna happen tonight. You will see a highlight of Trae Young hitting a 35-footer and then doing this, going Ice Trae because he's
Nice.
cold. He will do that tonight.
And then he's gonna say, "And I took it personally."
And I took it personally.
Yeah.
And by the way, not surprised he didn't make the All-Star team if he wasn't a starter because coaches vote on that, and he is in that hardened territory of like he gets a guy. What his whole move is, he'll go around a screen and then have a guy on his back and then just slow down and bump and just shoot a floater. Like that's his whole game. So yeah, he's one of those guys. It's weird. Harden and Trae Young are the most and least entertaining players to watch in the NBA.
Right.
Because watching them work and they're watching their offensive genius, even the way they draw fouls is like, how, like, holy shit, how do they do that? But then also the game moves at a mile a minute. So,
Yeah.
or not a mile a minute, a mile an hour. Mile a minute's fast.
That is pretty fast.
Mile a minute's 60 miles an hour.
Yeah. Slower than that.
Slow mile an hour. All right. Well, did you already say your
My player of the week is Remy Martin
Huh?
for ASU
Okay.
because they're playing Washington.
Okay, that makes sense. Fair enough.
They just played Washington
Yeah.
the other night and beat them very badly. I don't even remember what the score was.
Hey,
30
tough to
30
beat
points.
a team twice.
No, it's not. They're gonna destroy Washington. And Remy Martin, whoever
Give me
he
two
is.
locks of the week. Just they're covering. I don't know what the spread
I know.
is. They're covering.
I wanted the spread. I couldn't find the spread, but I'm like, the spread's probably gonna be like 30 points or something.
Slam it, baby.
If that spread is under 30,
Give me it.
take it.
Give me it.
Yeah.
Run with the points.
Oh my gosh.
All
what
right,
a
yeah, it's
train
definitely
wreck.
good that we didn't do the the NFL bets. We're almost an hour and a half in. So,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, you got anything else regarding any of the topics we've spoken of today?
No, I just wonder how the Mariners. I say no, and then I'm talking.
Yeah.
I wonder how the Mariners are going to recover from this. I think these top players don't trust the organization. If they ever did, they sure don't now. And I don't think that getting rid of one guy solves the problem, because I think as a player you're sitting there going, all you motherfuckers were thinking that.
Yeah, and
you are all thinking, you're all the same. You are all thinking that. I don't care what you tell me.
Yeah, and right now we have such a young core of seemingly excited players,
Yeah.
players that are like they're repping the Mariners on Twitter and all this
Yeah.
stuff, and then you're fucking it all up by doing this.
Mhm.
It doesn't take much more for me to not feel bad if Julio Rodriguez says, fuck this, I want to play somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's like we're a few steps away from that, but we're getting there, man. Like, we're getting close to the point where I don't blame these people for leaving, and they haven't even stepped foot on Safeco Field yet.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's not crazy. You're
Yeah.
not even there yet, and you're already thinking
Yeah.
about how to get out of town.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. All right.
Ugh.
Other than that, Jesus Christ. All right. All right. Follow us on Twitter at Mason Charles Coe, Aaron Coe 29. Like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube. You heard him talk about Goosehead and his book in the past however many episodes, so go ahead and check those out. Other than that, you got anything? Any last thoughts?
Nada.
Nada? All right. Well, sorry for not posting last week.
Devastating.
Devastating. I know you guys are all really missing it, but I'm hoping to maybe get another solo podcast out soon. I don't really know. They're really hard. They're really hard. So yeah. Anyway, other than that,
Is that an alien? I think I just saw an alien.
You probably did. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Anyway, peace.
So yeah.